Willkommen zurück zu Code. Wir sind im Zug mit all den anderen Leuten und jetzt haben wir Zeit zu reden. Also, mit wem reden wir mal? Wie wär's mit, wir reden über Smileys Identität. Smileys Identity. So, about that guy in the mask. Smiley, was it? What are your impressions?
He looks scary as hell. And also, he feels kind of familiar. The stuff he has on his head. That mask? It's really frightening. I certainly wouldn't want to eat lunch with him.
I mean, you can't tell what he looks like inside. Maybe he's handsome. Maybe, but there's a reason why he's concealing himself now. I think there are only three possibilities as to why. He numbered them all while the twins listened. The first is that it's someone in a group of 8. Yes, I know that's kind of weird to think about, so let's think about the second one instead. The second possibility, he's someone one of us knows but isn't in the group. He might be a relative or someone with some kind of notoriety who wouldn't want to be seen.
Like a celebrity? You really think someone with such a high fame would do that?
Possible. I've seen a lot of eccentric millionaires. At the word eccentric, my mind instantly jumped to A&E. I felt bad for thinking about them, as if they were the only eccentrics in the world. The third one is, they've lived with a mask their whole life. Hockey mask, a machete, big guy running after you to kill you.
Hey, stop that! We're not in a horror movie. Though you look right at home in one. Maybe we're not in one, but our situation is pretty dim. Like I said, he'd be right at home. I shook my head in disbelief. Marco just never stopped making jokes and references. I really wondered how that dude's got a master's degree in science. There was so tense once we arrived at the station that I caught myself holding my breath. The doors finally opened, but nobody was in a hurry to leave. Aber das war's. Nur eine Frage, okay. Station, garde manger. Well, I guess we don't have a choice. The doors aren't closing, so if what Smiley said was true, 2 of us have to leave here. I don't mind going first, but if anyone else wants to, I also wouldn't mind that. Knowing him, he really didn't want to leave the train yet. Maybe he was afraid of what could happen. I looked at the others and eventually, the old man smiled.
Very well. We'll be taking the station then. Please grant me a moment to let E know.
I examined the station outside the window while he was doing that. It was remarkably similar to the one we previously read. Large metal plates covered the wall. Whoever Smiley was, whatever he did in life, somehow he could have the equipment to modify every single station of the subway. Before I managed to frighten myself more, the old man saluted as to take his departure.
We shall see each other again, I hope. If not, safe travels, and I shall pray for you to make it out alive.
He left the train, followed by the girl. The 2 of them waved at us. Rather, the old man waved at us, but he waved at an empty compartment. Poor girl. The 2 of them continued forward until they stepped through the open doorway. As soon as he vanished inside, the door slid to a closed state with a soft thump. Oh, es geht weiter. After that, the doors of the train closed as well as we set off once more, this time without 2 of the passengers. For train station, bibliothèque. I figured I could keep talking to the others while we were in here, but before I could do so, Marco said something. I'm starting to get hungry, and I don't really know why. Yeah, me too, now that you mentioned it. Hey, you know how hunger works, right? What do you mean? When you get hungry, you don't really get hungry the way we think we do. Like, there's some emptiness in your stomach and it growls, right? Yeah, that's how I know I'm hungry. In reality, it's just some kind of signal. Your body is like, hey, I'm not digesting anymore and there's free space, send food. And then your brain receives the message. I guess you're the science man here, so I don't know about that. Man, yeah, didn't you have biology classes? You should know all this stuff already. If I had to guess, that was far too long ago for both of us. I've been working for a few years now, but I've never had the opportunity to think about it again. Yeah. Besides, we don't have the time to really talk about it. Oh, yeah. The next station's coming up. If you wanna, I'll tell you all about it later. I'll pass, I think. Noticing how his expression dropped, I sighed and surrendered myself to his wills. Yay, wir kriegen Nachhilfe. Fine, okay. But later. Once again, the doors opened and once again, nobody moved. This time around, I decided to take the lead. I gathered my courage and stepped forward. Alright, it's our turn now. Okay. I guess we can go now that we know it's not going to kill us.
It wouldn't make any sense if it did, don't you think?
At any rate, let's see each other later, everyone. Come back in one piece too. That means you're not allowed to lose your fingers, or your arm, or even your hair. I pulled him out of the train before he kept building himself into a bigger laughingstock. I gave a wave to Jasmine, who returned it in a kind with a nod. So, what now? I looked around. The station seemed the same as the previous ones. Giant metal plates, open doorway. I pondered it. I think that's our destination. We'll have more time to talk once we search this place proper. Lead the way, Mr. Interpret. He made an exaggerated gesture towards the entrance, almost folding himself over, like some sort of butler. Some things never change, I guess. I took the lead anyway. How could I not have done so after the display of politeness? Once I stepped inside of the tiny staircase lobby, I realized this place was actually decently lit. Perhaps it was just my eyes getting used to the relative darkness. The moment Marco walked through the doorway to ascend the staircase with me, the door closed behind us with a soft sliding sound. Right next to it, on the inside was a small keypad. It took numbers. I see, so we're trapped. I guess we have to find the code to reopen the door, or just move further in. You think Smiley would have put us here directly, or avoided the train business? Whatever the case, let's get going already. I'm starting to get really hungry. Maybe we'll find some food here. I don't think Smiley would let us die from starvation, since we're his lifeblood, yeah? Food seemed to be wishful thinking. Still, there was no point in wasting time, so we went up the stairs. What awaited us there was rather strange, to be honest. It was a library. Das hat der Zug gesagt. There were rows upon rows of books. The bookshelves were completely filled to the brim. Here and there were a few little computers scattered around, but most importantly was the fact there were windows. Oh, what? Unfortunately, all the windows had metal plates bolted over them. We weren't getting doors open anytime soon. There was one window which was uncovered, but when I looked through it, I saw a very bizarre sight. It was some kind of weird small room. I assumed this was the scanner as Smiley mentioned previously. So this was our exit then. Not that I've been able to leave at the moment, since going through there would have probably killed me if I tried. Our search eventually also showed us there were a bunch of benches to relax or read books on, and some tablets and seats were off to the sides. Ayada. And this place was rather big, at that. Oh look, there's a little map here. We can see how big this place is, and that must be the exit room up there. Oh. That would certainly come in handy. This place was decently big. I'll take care of this side and you look through the other side. Just let me know if you find anything cool or interesting. Like a nice pub? I said cool, not cold. I'm obviously talking about leaving this room ASAP. Codes, objects we can take and such. Roger then. Ich würde einen Eispop nehmen. Marco split up from me as I took in the size of the room. There were so many books in this place I was sure I could have stayed here my whole life. Sorry, reading one at a day and still not be done by my death. Crack the code! Okay, dann lass mal suchen gehen. Oh mein Gott, das ist eine Menge. Okay, wir haben... This place had a bunch of garbage bins strewn around. They were all in locations close to the wall, even if normally they were situated in a more accessible place, just in case you dropped trash behind them by mistake.
If Smiley wanted us to live here for a long time, at least we're not short on suitable housing for Ray.
He patted the top of the bin. Leave it to you to turn everything we find into a joke. I looked inside the bin. Who would hide anything inside the bin anyway?
Wasn't it unsanitary?
Smile didn't know proper hygiene etiquette. After much consideration, I didn't either, since I assumed there would be something inside the bin. I tried moving it, but it was strongly bolted into the floor, preventing me from doing so.
Hey.
Also. Hey, are all the bins stuck on the ground?
Yep. I checked the others already. Actually, that reminds me, one of them had something.
He produced a book out of nowhere. I repulsively grimaced at it. Marco, that was in the trash.
Doesn't look terrible to me. I think it'd be useful.
The book is called the Cephalocodex. Oh,
The title is Study on the Variables of the Head.
weird. Oh, hey! It has a key with an eye for a handle on the cover.
Yeah, that's pretty weird. Why is that kind of book here? Aren't we in one of the installations of the MTS?
And the MTS stood for Montreal Transport Society, which was the company that regulated everything related to the metro, from the trains, to the tickets, to the staff. I thought Smiley might have been a member of the staff, now that Marco brought it up. If he wasn't, how did he manage to do all this? I'll keep the books, do you mind?
Nope. Feel free to good study if you want.
I had to look for somewhere suitable to read this. Ein Tisch wahrscheinlich. Near the counter was a rather large poster so we wouldn't miss it. It read, "Please be quiet, this is a library." Do you read that, Ab? I guess we have to be silent now or else we'd anger the librarian and then we'd be banned from the library?
Well, there doesn't seem to be anyone around. So I guess I'll be the librarian then, and my first action will be smash our exit open. Though all I currently have in order to do so are my bare hands.
If you really want to do that, then go ahead. I don't know, I don't want to hurt my fist just pounding on it. Remember Ray and how he tried to slam open the door?
Yeah. Our best bet to escape this place is someone saying my name 3 times in rapid succession.
Marco Martin, Marco Martin, Marco Martin! How do you feel?
Still trapped, because you summoned me here, where I already was, you buffoon.
Good point! Between us both, I definitely wasn't a buffoon. Weiß ich nicht. Hello, yes, I'm here to return the first edition of Her Bright Immortals.
There's no one behind the counter.
I'm behind the counter.
No, you're in front of it.
I'm behind the counter for whoever will be on the other side.
That doesn't... it's...
While you thought about it, what I said, I stepped away and noticed. Ich meine, du hast recht. There was an area back there with a desk, a bin, some bookshelves, and a chair. It was a little cozy, but there wasn't enough space for anyone to really study here. Looking up, I saw there was a hole in the middle of the second floor, surrounded by more railings. Falling over would prove difficult, though that hole was a little silly too. It would be what I expect out of a mansion or something, but this corner was far too small to constitute that. Probably just for aesthetics. Weiß ich nicht. I took a moment to appreciate the architecture of this place. While I didn't really have a job related to that field, I was still allowed to admire the handiwork. Next to it was some kind of painting. I didn't recognize what it was, just some kind of landscape. A few of those were disseminated around these parts. Okay.
Look, an ATM. I'm gonna use to get some money out.
He pushed a few buttons. Nothing happened, so he pushed some more. At some point, he stopped pushing buttons and started mashing his hands down against the machine. Hey, whoa! Stop with the rage against the machine.
This thing isn't working, and now you're telling me I have to stop listening to music too?
It's probably not even an ATM. Why would there be an ATM here anywhere? Anyway, this is a library.
Yes, but okay, fine. It's the library, so stop making so much noise.
I abandoned the pursuit, choosing not to point out that he was causing a much bigger ruckus than I ever could have done.
So, was ist hier oben?
I couldn't get up there alone. There was no letters tall enough in this room, and unless we stacked enough books, which would take a year to do, and be very dangerous to climb, we weren't getting up there.
Who would make an inaccessible second floor?
Oh, das hätte ich gefragt.
Maybe it's not meant to be accessible because it's not really a library. What if it's just a replica? All of the books up there are dudes.
But why?
I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to make this into a believable living space. Like a big study. Big study room. Anyway,
maybe we can get up there if one of us lifts the other. If you think I'm gonna lift you up there, you've got some kind of delusion.
It's all good. I could do it instead. I'm okay with it.
Maybe if it ends up being necessary, then fine. Just don't drop me.
Never gonna let you down.
Never gonna let you down. I saw Marco stare at the plant. That was pretty rude of him, so I went over to tell him to stop doing that right this instant and learn some manners instead. However, when I came nearer, he lifted a hand as if to tell me to stop.
Hold on. Plant.
Another one of your dumb jokes.
They're not dumb. And no, I just remembered. I knew a girl named Plaint before.
Really? That's kind of weird. It's not really a name, but maybe more like someone's last name?
No, it wasn't her first name, you dumbass. I was like, oh yeah!
He snapped his fingers and his face lit up as if he discovered a secret to immortality, or something that's equally important.
Her name was Anastasia Plaint. She was a little silly in the ad. I remember her. She had white hair, really weird. I don't know if that was due to a condition or... Anyway, at least her name wasn't Anastarobe or something even weirder, like Anstamerica.
Didn't know you even knew other people. We learn things every day. He looked at me a little sad, like a sad little puppy, as I chose to disregard his dumb joke, and then, after I gave him a pat on the shoulders to reassure him in this trying time, we split up again. Hey bro.
You know, now that I think about it, your outfits make me a lot hungrier than I thought it was. You work at a pizzeria, right? Pizza Wheat, was it?
Driving around the city, delivering food for people with futures. That's my job. What about it?
Why are you in a get-up today? Didn't you have some exams?
I had a shift this morning before the exams, and you'd be surprised how much people order pizza in the early hours of the day. They're absolutely insane, I tell you.
Well then, if delivering food for people with future is your job, you should pay yourself a pizza then. The finals went well, and you got a future, right, Simon?
I tried to avoid outright decline to get pizza, even if my grimace was probably telling. Maybe, but I just don't really know where I'm going. So about the future, it's not that bright. He shrugged, not pursuing the topic any longer. It seemed like just as I dodged the topic of the pizza, he dodged the one about the future. We all had our fair share of worries. And don't call me Simon here, call me S.
We have nicknames for a reason.
Yeah, okay Simon. I sat down with the book Marco handed to me. I decided this would be the perfect place to start studying in it. Oh shit, I'm missing something. Upon opening the book, I saw that it actually was empty for writing. The entire thing was like one of those Bibles with an empty slot where a drunkyard priest would put a beer in some B-movie. And it's locked. The little box had a golden key lock, so until I find something to unlock it, that's the end of the road for that idea. I stood up and continued my search for a key. Okay. Okay, und 2 Räume. Ja, okay. Was ist da oben? I ascended the stairs. On the second floor, there were about as many books as there were on the first floor. And yes, the first floor, because it wasn't first on the ground. I didn't live in England. Actually, I was wrong about that. This wasn't the first floor, was it? We were underground. I took a moment to contemplate that idea. If we hadn't been underground, I would have been on the second floor. But since we were, I probably was on something like... I held my mouth in shock. I probably was overground now, actually. Because we took a flight of stairs up from the metro in the first place. Oh, we're above ground. Maybe there's a way to leave this room and escape to the streets.
No chance. The windows are bolted shut and this is just a secret between you and I.
He spoke to me from below.
I actually managed to pull one of those plates off and behind it was just flat solid wall. The windows here?
He shrugged in disbelief.
They don't exist. I wonder if this place is really above ground.
This clock gave me the creeps, and I couldn't understand why. Maybe I would be able to know the exact reason once I figured out its purpose. Since it was up there already, I chose to check for anything special I could find in the bookshelves. There were just so many books though, but there was also some empty space between them. In one of them, I found a gold key. The handle was shaped like an eye. All you have to do to find this key is to open your eye. Done with the second floor. I walked back to down the stairs. Hey, wir haben den Schlüssel für das Buch. I opened the book after I sat down. While open, it became clear that this book had nothing in it except a large compartment void of pages, cut out in the middle of it all. The gold lock guarded the compartment, which I soon made quick work of by using the key with the eye handle. Nice. The cover was a dead giveaway. Inside the compartment was another key, but this time it was black, and the tiny handle was shaped like a clock. It was actually really, really tiny too. Is this some sort of winding key? A key with a clock on it in the Cephalo Codex? Does it mean anything? Inside the compartment were some instructions for the key. My spot is at the end, after every other, as the milliseconds add up to hours line me. I felt like I was really close to solving this room. Auf zur Uhr! I figured the key I'd found, which looked like a clock, would be used on the clock itself. Standing before it, I pushed it inside the middle bit regulation these hands. They could move. My spot is at the end of the line. The end of the line. To all the others. Looking at the clock and what letters were on it, I realized what was weird. Oh, das sind Buchstaben. TMJHSLAGEDU. See. Oh yeah, it's got letters and 4 clock handles, not just 3. Oh yeah, stimmt. Wait, so it means once the hour hand, once the minute hand, once the hand for the seconds, and the last one is for the milliseconds? 4 letters. Try last, maybe. It's at the end after everyone else, and it has 4 letters. Oh, clever. Marcus went up next to me, having overheard what I've been solving. Here goes. I twisted the last winding key to work the hands over, and once they were aligned to make the word last, the clock opened. Behind in the wall was a safe that seemed a bit cold to the touch. It's refrigerated. Let's see what's inside. He brought out some temperatures and a piece of electronics, like a small tablet with a code on it. That's most likely our password to get out. But why is there food here? I don't care, I'm hungry. He swiped one and I took the other. I didn't trust the sandwiches because this seemed really strange, but since Marco was biting into his own and didn't fall dead, I figured there may not have been any problems with them. I just couldn't understand why. A few minutes passed while we ate our sandwiches. Marco was looking at his half-eaten sandwich. Something struck him and he pointed at it. Swallow, then talk. If it's not polite to talk with your mouth full, and I don't understand anything you're telling me. He took a few seconds to do that, finished up the bite he was chewing. I shook my head in complete derision. What he wanted to say was apparently so important he was not being understood. I just remembered, sorry about that, what I was talking about earlier, about hunger. Remember how I said that when you get hungry, you don't really get hungry? I remember, but it doesn't make any sense. Well, think of it this way. When you get hungry, your stomach goes growl, and you go, oh my god, I'm hungry. That's because your stomach sends a signal to your brain to tell it, yo, I gotta eat, bro. How long do I gotta starve? What you're feeling is basically that. But suppose that your head wouldn't be connected to your body anymore, and you'd still stay alive by some miracle. Your stomach would still growl, but you wouldn't feel it. You wouldn't feel the hunger anymore. That means the stomach is what gets hungry, and the head is what knows the stomach is hungry. Does that make sense? Like, it's a signal, that's what I'm trying to explain. But isn't it enough that you get that signal anyway? Yeah, that makes you feel hungry, but you aren't hungry. He poked my stomach. I pulled away a little to avoid his fingers, but he'd already poked me. Get it now? What you just felt is the same way. I didn't touch you. In fact, I didn't even touch your body. All I touched was your shirt. And your shirt? Well, it's connected to your skin, which is connected to your nerves, which are connected to your brain. It even touches the signal, a sense.
But did I really touch you? No, that's the question.
I looked at him with a victorious gleam in my eyes. Oh, this time he was the one who called me jumped on. Are you trying to create some sort of defense just in case you get arrested for bad touch? Marco lifted his hands in defense of himself.
Oh, come on, no, of course not. I wouldn't do that.
And I'm sure that'll fly very well with your eventual wife. She'll say, you were really good in bed today, I love that. And then you'd be like,
oh, I didn't really touch you. That was just a signal.
This time, I managed to make him avert his eyes. Simon, 1 point. Marco, 5,367 points. Maybe. The score was really lopsided. Hey, don't delay the lunch either. We gotta eat and get out of here.
Right, you got me fine. I'll just finish eating.
Okay, hier beenden wir den Part, denn im nächsten Part werden wir die Bibliothek verlassen. Ich finde das Spiel cool, der Humor gefällt mir gut. Und ich will mal gucken, wie es läuft mit den Charakteren hier. Die anderen Stationen, mal gucken, wie die aussehen. Ich freue mich drauf. Ich hoffe, es gefällt euch auch. Wenn es euch gefallen hat, lasst einen Daumen hoch da, abonniert, wenn ihr wollt. Oder kommentiert, wäre auch nett. Und wir sehen uns beim nächsten Mal dann bei Head is Code. Tschüss!